So I would say we kind of have to talk about why Jesus did that, first of all. Jesus hung out with the sinners and the saints equally, pretty much, because he realized that everybody needed love and grace, not just the saints, not just the sinners, but everybody. Also, with that, kind of why he did it, he was one of the only people at that time that kind of was able to. Back then, the Pharisees were a little corrupt, so the people hanging out with sinners usually got swayed by their temptations, and that's kind of why they're called temptresses. A whole nother topic. But Jesus was with them because he couldn't be tempted by anything that they kind of threw at him. He always stayed on the path. And I think that kind of shows, I wouldn't say we're supposed to stay away from bad influences, but it's kind of a warning along with that. I would say that, in my personal opinion, if you're really strong in your faith, really strong in your spirituality where you are right now, by all means, be with the sinners, be with the saints as well, be with the people that might be looked down on sometimes, and kind of just be there for them. I think it's really hard to be there for people when you need other people for you. In my personal, kind of in my own life, I was hanging out with not the best group of guys in high school. A lot of drinking and partying was going on in that group. I wasn't a part of that, but it was close. I was kind of with them saying like, oh, this is what Jesus wants me to do. I can be here for them and kind of be away from it. But the more and more time I spent with them, I realized I wasn't becoming the person I wanted to be. We could talk a lot about like words create worlds, and that group of guys led me to be the sarcastic person I am today, pretty much. It was a lot worse in high school. I'm working on it still. Kind of creating a pretty terrible world for other people to live in when I spoke. But I realized what was going on, and I wasn't in the right spot for them and for myself, so I had to step away. It was one of the hardest things I've done, because it's a great group of guys, but I just had to step away from them. So I would say the answer, just plain and simple, is God doesn't call us not to be a part of a group just because of what they're doing. But if you're not ready to be in that place, don't push it. Because if you push it and then you kind of get swayed, it's going to be hard kind of to come back from that. When the world
looks back. Hey guys, so I'm here to talk to you all a little bit about the Sabbath and why some people think that it's on Saturday, why some people think that it's on Sunday. So let's start off by talking a little bit about what the Sabbath is. As you all know, God created the earth in 6 days, and on that 7th day, he rested. So in the Ten Commandments, we see that God told us to remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Remember that day that he created the earth and revere it. And so what the Jewish people did was, from Friday night to Saturday night, they would do no work. There's like a list of 39 things that they weren't allowed to do, like don't tan hides, don't shear sheep. I don't know. I don't even know what those mean. So, but they wouldn't do any of that. They would instead rest. They would eat and drink and spend time with each other, read the Bible, worship, and just remember how awesome God is. And another thing that they would remember on the Sabbath was how God brought the Israelites up out of Egypt. So that was kind of a big deal for them, and something that they also remembered on the Sabbath. Now, why did the Jewish people celebrate it on Saturday and we generally say the Sabbath is on Sunday? Well, that's because of the way that the Jewish people kept track of their week. They believed that Sunday was the first day of the week, so the last day of the week would be Saturday. So that was when their Sabbath was. And we generally say that the beginning of our week is Monday, so Sunday is generally the day that we take our Sabbath. But, Sabbath, why is that important? Well, it's one of the big 10, one of the 10 commandments, and it's sitting right up there next to, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not murder. So it's kind of a big deal, and it's a big deal to God. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm always just kind of like, Sabbath, who needs a Sabbath? I've got too much to do. I've got homework, I've got to get this done, I've got a lesson to write, whatever it might be. And we generally just kind of jump right over the Sabbath. But if we look at the life of Jesus, we see that he had very healthy rhythms between work and rest. So much so that they even call Jesus the Lord of the Sabbath. And he very much remembered the Sabbath and kept it holy. And as Christians, we're called to model our lives after Christ. And he thought it was a big deal. And so that's why it's really important for us to take a Sabbath. And I don't know about you guys, but life is so busy that the idea of having a day to just rest and, study the Bible and spend time with friends and family, that really sounds pretty nice. And not only does it sound nice, it's really important for our, our physical lives, our spiritual lives. Taking time to rest, can keep us from getting burnt out. It can keep us from, being overworked, and really it can do a lot for our spirit to take that time and abide in God's presence. So, next time that Sunday rolls around and you're like, oh man, I've gotta do this, and this, just try and take some time to rest. Take some time to remember that God's awesome. He created the universe. He created you. He loves you. And that's pretty awesome. So yeah, hope that answered your all's questions. Thank you guys so much.